The great hall of the Galactic Council fell silent as Lord Varen entered. His crimson scales caught the light of 1,000 worlds, each victory scar a testament to battles won across 3 star systems. The Draconid war hero moved with the confidence of someone who had never known defeat, his forearms gesturing dramatically as he recounted tales of conquest to the assembled delegates. Kel Draven sat in the corner, unremarkable among the exotic species that filled the chamber. Human. Average height. Brown hair. The kind of person who disappeared in crowds, which was exactly how he preferred it. He nursed a glass of Centaurian whiskey and listened to Varen's booming voice echo off the marble walls. And then, Varen bellowed, his mandibles clicking with amusement. The enemy fleet scattered like frightened prey. They called me the Crimson Death, the Unbreakable, They called you lucky, Kale said quietly. But in the acoustically perfect hall, everyone heard. Varen's golden eyes fixed on the human. What did you say, little mammal? Kale took another sip. I said you were lucky. The Threnody fleet was already damaged from their civil war. You just finished off the stragglers. A collective intake of breath rippled through the chamber. No one spoke to Lord Varen this way. The Draconid had personally defeated 7 champion warriors in single combat. He had conquered 12 worlds. His name was whispered with fear across half the known galaxy. Varen's scales darkened to the color of dried blood. You dare question my achievements? What have you done, human? What wars have you won? What legends speak your name? Kale set down his glass carefully. None, I'm just a cargo hauler now. Exactly. Varen's laugh was like grinding metal. A nothing, a nobody. Humans are all the same, soft, weak, forgettable. I've heard the stories about your kind. You talk about honor and friendship as if they were weapons. His voice dripped with contempt. You even build monuments to your failures, crying over the dead like children. The human's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Varen pressed on, sensing weakness. Yes, I've seen them. Pathetic stone markers on dozens of worlds. Here lies so-and-so, beloved friend, never forgotten. He mimicked a weeping gesture with 2 of his arms, as if remembering the dead ever won a battle. As if your mewling sentimentality ever... His name was Marcus Webb. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Kale's voice was perfectly level, but something in it made even Varen pause. What? The human you're thinking of? On Epsilon Meridian. His name was Marcus Webb. Kyle stood slowly. He was my friend, my partner, and you will not mock his memory. Varen's moment of hesitation passed, replaced by his characteristic arrogance. Or what, little human? Will you cry at me? Will you build me a monument? He turned to the crowd, arms spread wide. Shall we all weep together for poor dead Marcus? He never finished the sentence. The council's security feeds would later show that Kale moved first. But most witnesses would swear Varen had somehow attacked himself. One moment the Draconid was laughing, and the next he was on the ground, 2 of his arms broken, gasping for air that wouldn't come. Kyle stood over him, his expression unchanged. Marcus Webb, he said conversationally, was not a cargo hauler. Neither am I. But that's what our discharge papers say when we retire from the Human Defense Corps Special Activities Division. Around the hall, delegates were frantically accessing their data tablets. The Zetherian ambassador went pale, or rather her bioluminescence dimmed to almost nothing. No, she whispered. It can't be. Marcus Webb, another voice said, an Archon scholar, his voice shaking. The ghost of Rigel IV. They say he held a bunker alone for 3 days against an entire Kresh battalion. They say he killed 200 warriors with nothing but a broken rifle and a combat knife. They say, Kale corrected gently, still standing over Varen, that he killed 247. I was there. I counted. But he's dead, Varen managed to gasp. Dead, a failure. He died, Kale agreed, saving a colony of 8,000 Valerian refugees. He held a bridge for 6 hours while they evacuated, alone. He knew it was suicide. He went anyway. The human's voice remained calm, but his eyes were cold as space itself. The Valerians built him a monument. I was at the dedication. Every year, 8,000 beings and their children and their children's children gather there. They remember. Varen tried to rise, but Kale's boot pressed down on his chest. You want to know what wars I've won? Kyle asked. I ended the siege of Carthaxis. I negotiated the Truce of 7 Suns. I've killed warlords, toppled dictatorships, and saved more lives than you could count. He leaned down. And I did it all quietly because that's what humans like Marcus and I do. We don't need legends. We don't need monuments. We do the work and we go home. Then why? Varen coughed, his pride crumbling with his ribs. Why did you reveal yourself? Kale's expression finally changed. A cold smile touched his lips. Because you mocked my friend. The council chamber remained frozen as Kale straightened and walked back to his seat. He picked up his whiskey glass and drained it. Marcus Webb was worth 100 of you, Varen, he said, and now everyone here knows it. Now everyone knows what you are, a bully who picks on the dead because they can't fight back. The Draconid war hero. The Crimson Death, the Unbreakable, lay on the floor and said nothing. Later, as the medics carried Varen away and the delegates dispersed in uncomfortable silence, the Zytherian ambassador approached Kale cautiously. The ghost of Rigel IV, she said softly. That's what they'll call Lord Varen now, won't they? The warrior who insulted a legend and lost everything. Kale shook his head. No, they'll call him the fool who forgot the first rule about humans. He turned to leave, then paused at the doorway. We don't forget our friends. We don't forget what they taught us. And we sure as hell don't let anyone disrespect what they died for. The ambassador watched him go. This unremarkable human who had just dismantled a legend with his bare hands and a few words. She understood now why humanity was quietly feared by those who truly knew them. They didn't conquer worlds or build empires. They just had long memories, absolute loyalty, and a terrifying competence when someone they loved was threatened, even in death, especially in death. In the corner of the hall, Kale Draven's empty glass sat on a table. Just another forgotten object in a room full of them. Ordinary, unremarkable. Dangerous in ways that beings like Varen would never understand until it was far, far too late. The monument on Epsilon Meridian still stood, bearing Marcus Webb's name, and somewhere in the galaxy, his friend was making sure that name and what it represented would never be forgotten.